like bad. Like we got the 76ers and the Bucks.
And the Knicks.
The Knicks are doing better than both of those teams, but they still. I mean, we
I
gotta
mean,
talk
they
about
still
the
right.
Knicks.
I'm pretty sure they below.
Knicks are a little disappointed, but the Bucks and 76ers look like they could almost fall off a cliff completely.
Granted, the 76ers Embiid didn't play. He got suspended. Paul George wasn't playing the first couple games. They still got to mesh together as a team. Like Giannis and Dame been playing for a whole season together, and they still look bad.
So who you want to dive into first, 76ers or the Bucks?
I say 76ers.
Okay, so the 76ers are actually currently playing the Knicks right now in the NBA in-season tournament. I'm not too sure what the score is. Last time I checked, it was kind of like a close game.
It's 43-41 Knicks, second quarter with 4 minutes left.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know what the stats are putting up or how they're working together, but they're competing. I don't know. Maxey was on the tear the first couple games. They was losing. He was out here averaging like 30, and then. How do y'all feel about that game where Paul George took the last second shot? Should it have gone to Maxey?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch that game, but I feel like if they taking the last second shot in general, it should be going to Maxey just because of the beginning of the season. These few games that Paul George has played, he hasn't looked like the Paul George that we know. Mm-hmm. He looked like he's taking a step back. Maybe he's recovering from the injury or whatever the case may be. But right now, Tyrese Maxey is that guy, and I feel like he's the one that's got to be taking those shots if Joel Embiid isn't playing until Paul George shows that he's ready,
I do feel like taking those shots away from Paul George might just set him back even more. So that's maybe if the play was to include him, that's why they would.
Mm-hmm. Like he needed those shots he needed to get comfortable. He needed to get his confidence. Like he needed to take those shots. Like,
yeah.
Okay. But I mean, I think the Sixers are in a better position than the Bucks right now because for the most part, most of their team has been hurt. Maxey's now hurt. He's out for a couple weeks with the hamstring injury. So Sixers got a lot to work together. It's their first year together. But right now being 2-7, 1-7, what they were, like they're down bad, real bad. So hopefully they can pick it up. Hopefully all their players can get healthy and they can play together. But they definitely got some work to do. But the Bucks, I think, is in definitely a worse boat.
Real quick with 76ers, my main concern was Embiid, and just hearing with all the news and stuff coming up is just you don't really know if he's gonna play most of the games.
Yeah, he said he was. Oh yeah, he said he wasn't gonna play none of the back-to-backs, and I think there was already like 14 games back-to-back. Like that already puts him in that threshold, the whole 65 games if you want to win MVP. 76ers got a lot to work on. The Bucks. Let's talk about the Bucks. The Bucks is looking atrocious. Giannis is out here dropping 40, and Dame is dropping 30, and they still losing. Granted, they also don't got Chris Middleton. Dame just got hurt. He's in the concussion protocol currently right now as of this date. But I don't know, man. Doc Rivers can't carry them. They don't know how to work together. Giannis needs the ball in his hand. Dame needs the ball in his hand. That pick and roll ain't working.
For me, listen, man. The second the Bucks hired Doc Rivers to be their coach, they put their franchise in the garbage because they had AJ Griffin coaching before. He didn't have a losing record, whatever. You want to change the coach, fine, respect.
He was like 30-19 before they fired him.
Right, which is already confusing, but okay, you want to change the coach, go ahead. But my thing is, what made you guys think that Doc Rivers was going to be the guy to make this team mesh or do anything after seeing what he did with the Sixers? He won a championship before, but so has Frank Vogel, and you've seen what he did with the Suns. There's certain guys who could get you a championship, but they're not like great coaches.
They're not the reason why they won the championship. Yeah. They were just the coach of a championship team. Right?
Exactly. Just because you won a championship as a coach doesn't mean that you could take any team to the championship. And I don't think that Doc Rivers is that guy for the Bucks. Also, they just don't have enough on that team right now. I think you got Dame and Giannis. Those are two guys that are always going to be good. But Dame defensively at the end of the games, he's not going to be doing that good. And then around those guys, there are not anybody who could really just relieve those guys. Those guys got to do a lot every night.
I think with Chris Middleton, that would because I looked at one of their games. I looked at the box score, and it's like Giannis had 30, Dame had 30. Then the next best person was like 15 Bobby Portis off the bench, and then everyone else had like single digits. So it's like, of course, I get what you're saying. There's nobody else. And then I feel like if Chris Middleton comes in and gets that 20, That's exactly what they need.
That would be ideal. However, I just don't think Chris Middleton is the same player that we think he is anymore. I
He's
think
not
Chris
always there.
Middleton has
Also,
fallen off
Oh,
a
he's been
cliff.
hurt.
He's been hurt too much, and I just don't think he's the same anymore, and he's not reliable. And I also don't think Bobby Portis is the guy that you want to rely on to be your third guy, good player, no. But
I mean, he's a bench, yeah. I mean, he's like a 6
if
man.
that's the third guy you want to expect to get you to the championship, I don't know if that's happening.
Okay, Isaiah, I got a question for you. Do you think the Bucks should get rid of Doc Rivers? Also, I would like to remind you, for some context, they're still paying Budenholzer and they're still paying Adrian Griffin. They're still paying their last 2 coaches that they fired, and now they're paying Doc Rivers the bag. And you guys fired your coach while he was doing good, and y'all brought in this guy, and y'all looking bad. And now, like, I just think they can't fire him personally. But like, I want to hear what you got to say.
Y'all might think I'm crazy, but I don't think the coach is a problem. I think Giannis is a problem.
Why?
He's a freak of nature, yes. There's a lot of fucking freaks of nature, but he just needs the ball in his hands for too long. For them to make a play, he needs the ball for too long. Even if that takes him over dribbling and not having nothing not creating nothing and then passing out the ball. But it's always the same thing. He's looking for that drive. He's looking for those N1 points, and niggas know his game.
I mean, I don't know, man. They look abysmal. Honestly, they in the abyss right now. R.I.P. the Bucks. They won a chip. They got a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. Hopefully they could pick it back up together. I think Doc Rivers is an issue. They brought him in, and he's not looking good. And the Bucks are bad.
Yeah, it's time for change. That's about it. It's time for some sort of change.
I think they already made one part of the change was bringing Dame. That's not working, so it's definitely.
But it's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get rid of Dame again? Like, you're gonna get rid of Dame, or you're gonna just start all over and get rid of Giannis? Like,
it's 1 or 2 for real.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you get rid of one, you gotta get rid of the other. Like, it makes no sense to keep.
Oh yeah, totally restart and start building from scratch if that's what they want to do.
Depending on what you could get for Dame, now if you could maybe piece together something nice for Dame and get something good in return, there's a chance you
what they could get.
Recover.
Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and like 2 second-round picks. Perfect.
That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad.
As hell. I was joking. I wanted that just for the Lakers. You crazy.
That wouldn't be bad for the Bucks.
Austin Reeves, D'Angelo, and Rui.
It'll make their team deeper around Giannis. Giannis definitely needs some role players around him. Well, you don't always need a second star,
Yes, you do.
Not always. You do, but
all right, we could go through every team in the last 20 years. They definitely had at least 2 stars.
You definitely always need a second star, but I think
or
overall, if you have, because obviously you see the Bucks have 2 stars right now and they ain't shit. So it's like if you have one, but listen, if okay, that's fine. But you see they have 2 stars and they ain't shit. You rather have 1 star and key role players that could play better and lead your team to somewhere than have 2 stars and your team still ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like they still.
So it's like that'll still make them better, is what I'm trying to say, than what they are now.
But yeah, Bucks.
They just need a new spark. They need to create something new.
R.I.P. to the Bucks. 76ers have more hope. They also down bad. The East is kind of like, we don't really know. Everyone like I